What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In today's video, I just wanted to plead with Bungie for more vault space. I was really hoping in one of the TWABs the last few weeks that they would address vault space. That maybe they would come out and say they're giving us a couple hundred more slots or something. For starters, I don't see what having more vault space would hurt. I'm not sure it affects anything on their end for game size or whatnot. Clearly with the Destiny content vault, that is a concern for them. So maybe that's a reason that they are hesitant to give us more space. But other than that, I don't see what it would hurt. I'm a player with around 4,000 hours logged into Destiny 2. I'm what most people would call a hardcore player. I grind lost sectors for fun, but the rewards are nice too, so I often have a vault full of exotic armor pieces. Plus, I grind Grandmaster Nightfalls to try and get more good loot. But a couple weeks ago, when it was double loot Nightfall week, I didn't do a single Nightfall. I just literally didn't have the space. My Postmaster is usually full of enhancement prisms and exotic shards. That is another issue. Why can we only hold 50 prisms and 10 shards? You masterwork 3 exotics and that pile basically disappears. It's too low in my opinion. Plus, I have a ton of masterwork gear in my vault just because I don't want my materials to disappear when I do the hard content. I have to use up my mats or they won't even go to my Postmaster because my Postmaster is usually full. On top of this, they reintroduced the Dreaming City weapons this season. I have done 1 or 2 Shattered Thrones since they've done this. I used to do Pit of Heresy every single week, but for a player like me, there's no point in grinding these because if I get a god roll weapon like the Sleepless Rocket Launcher with Vorpal Weapon from Shattered Throne, I will just have to delete another god roll to make room for it. So as a result, I just haven't played the content. I haven't even grinded Pit of Heresy at all either because I have tons of god roll armor, and again, if I get a great piece, it just means I have to delete another piece. I know Cakes has talked about this on Twitter, but he and I are a lot alike in that we want to keep certain weapons just for certain builds. I have 5 Frozen Orbit sniper rifles because one day I may want to make a build with Lumina and Kill Clip and just be a body-shotting menace. However, I don't play every PvP game like that, but it is nice to have the option to do it when I'm in the mood. But then I need to waste a vault spot on that weapon, just for the odd time when I will want to try out that build. Cammy also mentioned that he would pay for vault space. I think I've bought silver twice in Destiny 2 in 3.5 years, so I'm not really a big spender, but I do kind of agree with him on that. I played a mobile game about 4 years ago and you had to buy inventory space. It is the only money I ever spent in that game. I grinded everything else out legit, but I needed and wanted that inventory space. So I know I will do it if I have to. That game then became more and more pay to win over time and I quit, but at the time, it was money well spent. I'm against microtransactions as a concept in any game, as games get designed around that and in many instances it can ruin the core gameplay. I used to earn everything in Destiny with Bright Dust and never had to pay, and as someone who played a lot, that was great and I thought it was fair. However, as Dado and many others have pointed out, the Eververse isn't going anywhere. So in 2021, I just have to accept that it is how things are going to be in the gaming world and try to deal with it the best I can. I know I am getting off on a tangent here, but what I am trying to say is maybe Bungie can allow us to buy vault space if we want. I'm not a fan of it. I would way rather them just give us more vault space for free, obviously, like 500 slots or something every season. It would be awesome. But clearly, they want to make money on microtransactions and they want to avoid pay to win. I also want them to avoid pay to win, as any game that has done that, I have either not played it in the first place because of that, or quit the game like I did with that mobile game 4 years ago. So that is one option. But the main point I wanted to make is that by not giving us vault space, they are keeping hardcore players like me from playing the game. And as far as I know, they drip feed content to us and have bounty simulators like Guardian games at the end of the season just to keep their player count up. Rather than just allow players to have a month-long content drought where they can take a break from the game entirely, they always want to keep their player base engaged in the game. Again, I've played enough of this game to recognize this. But trust me, for a player like me, and I am sure many others, if we had the vault space available to us, we would play more. I would be doing the dungeons every week on all 3 characters. Absolutely I would. But right now, I just literally can't because there is 0 loot incentive. And yes, you could call me a hoarder, which I am, but in a game about loot, where is the incentive to play if you are getting no loot? Or rather, can't keep the loot that you earn. Every season, I go through my vault and character inventories and delete god roll armor and weapons, and it just feels really bad. I'd love to be able to keep a bunch of armor around so I can make an all-strength build on Warlock and abuse Stasis Freeze with Penumbral Blast or Top Tree Dawn Celestial Fire. But as someone who actively plays and enjoys playing all 3 classes, there just isn't space in the vault to have a build for every occasion for every character. And honestly, that really bums me out. The game has gone in a direction of build crafting, but it sucks being limited by things like vault space. I also enjoy playing quick play, so that is why I have about 50 sunset weapons. Most of the weapons I have kept around are either for quick play or guns such as my steel feather repeater or recluse with high kill counts that I just can't bear to part with. And trust me, I could have a lot more, like Manananan in all 3 elements from year 1, but I finally had to let go of them because of inventory issues. That was a sad day for me. Or deleting my loaded question with a ton of kills. It just feels bad. Just this week, I used my old PvP Austringer and got a Wii ran with it. The gun still feels amazing, and I love the aesthetic and sound of it. Not to mention, I grinded a ton of Menagerie to get the role I wanted. It would feel really bad to delete that and never get to play with it again. I also moved to PC in September, so from time to time I play with spare rations because I only got to use it on console back in the day. I saw a good suggestion somewhere that maybe they could bring in a separate vault for sunset weapons, but at this point that wouldn't really work as most people have probably deleted all their weapons they wanted to keep, except for the special PvP ones that you can still use, such as Beloved. I went from a vault of about 500 to one around 450 this week, and I cleaned out my character inventories as well so that I can hang on to a few pieces as I level up in the new season so I don't have to constantly infuse and waste resources, which is something I do a lot anyways. But when I was cleaning out my vault, I had so many weapons that would be so good in certain situations. And yes, I know it is situational, but when my auto-loading Vorpal first in last out with Assault Mag became meta, I was sure glad I had hung on to it. In a game with a changing sandbox, it feels really bad when something comes into the limelight and you have to regrind it because you deleted it back when it was trash and didn't want it taking up vault space. So that is my little rant. Again, I don't see what it hurts on Bungie's end to give us a crapload of vault space, and for the players who play a lot, I can guarantee you they would all appreciate it. I deleted dozens of great adept weapons this season, and that really sucks. Bungie finally gives us a loot incentive for doing Grandmasters, but you have to just pick your 1 or 2 best roles and scrap the rest because of inventory management. So please, Bungie, give us more vault space so we can continue to enjoy your game. All I want to do is grind, but at this point, there is no reason for me to. Take care, Guardians.